Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the JayBee Milly channel. I'm JayBee, and today I'm going to be reacting to Scott NerdSync's video about the Scooby-Doo and the Haunted High-Rise situation, but bear in mind it also covers stuff such as Holiday Haunt and Crypto 2 as well. I'm not going to be reacting to the whole video today or responding to every point because really there's only so many points that I can chime in and put a little bit more context around it or commentate on. So if you do want to see the full video, please do follow the link in the description down below. That'll take you directly to Scott's original video, so make sure to like and subscribe that as well, because we do really appreciate such a big platform giving this story the traction it deserves. So a huge thank you to Scott first and foremost, but of course we do have some stuff to discuss as well. We had a bit of an issue with YouTube not alerting us to this video because we've liked and subscribed from like a little while ago when it was more the superhero era of content. I will admit that when it comes to bigger YouTubers covering Scooby content, I kind of don't find much that I don't know in those videos. However, as I'm going to summarize within this was probably a lot of people's first interaction with the whole notion of Haunted High Rise to begin with. So these amazing videos from these popular YouTubers are absolutely essential in getting this story the traction it deserves. So we appreciate that a lot. So huge thank you to that. And for those that did DM us with this link, please make sure, like, if you do want to be shouted out, leave us a comment or DM us privately and we will make sure that that does happen. So without further ado, let's start.
I can't show footage of the movie because people are already having Warner Brothers Discovery issue copyright strikes on their entire channels for even mentioning this news.
1,000,000%. Scott actually raises a point here that I glossed over, and a lot of people on Twitter and even in their own YouTube videos glossed over, and that was the whole impact of the strikes. Now, Scott does go into length at what a strike can do to a channel and the massive effect it has, especially when smaller YouTubers don't have in connections with people at YouTube, and Warner Brothers could essentially be punching down to that demographic, and I do completely agree with that. And like I said at the start, one of the advantages of this potentially being someone's first interaction with Haunted High Rise is that it's also educating people on the impacts on smaller YouTubers as well. And they point out Scoobytopia was really badly affected by this. And honestly, we deserve the strike more than they did, and they're the one that got it. So there was a lot of discourse to be had here, and honestly, if the situation hadn't worked out for Scoobytopia, we should have really set up, you know, hashtag justice for Scoobytopia thing. But 1,000,000%, the whole kind of abuse of the copyright strike system was crazy to see. Now, I do agree with the other end of that spectrum as well. Bear in mind that if you are releasing something that clearly isn't meant to be released, should you get off like free with that? I kind of don't think so, but then at the same time, how long has it been since the leak at this point? And we've had no official word from Warner Brothers saying, you know, we're aware that this has happened, but this is gonna come out, let's support the creators when it, you know, despite the leak and stuff like that. In fact, I'm sure there's movies in the past, I know like there's a Scooby movie that was leaked, but there's a precedent set. Oh god, I'm trying to think what it was. I think it was the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. A part of that was leaked beforehand, and then Marvel came out and said, like, they just kind of were clear about it, like, this is what's going to happen, thank you to everyone who's supporting by watching this official release. So I do think if we had something like that with Warner Brothers, I think it'd be a different story, but we've still not heard anything. I guess we're not going to know. It's just going to be a case of, will we get a Crypto trailer one day, won't we get a Crypto trailer one day? We don't know.
Some of the creative people behind the Haunted High Rise spoke out about how they're sad that no one's going to be able to see all of the hard work they put into making a movie that, by all accounts, sounds awesome. Thrilling motorcycle chase sequences and new Hex Girls songs, those are two of the 3 wishes I asked for from that genie I met this morning.
I think this is probably why a lot of people were sending us the link to this video, and honestly it did blow me away. Like I said, like, we've had some bad experiences with YouTubers with 10,000, 20,000 subscribers where they would full on like rip 10-20 minutes from an interview without mentioning us or adding any links, and of course there is an element of that, like, of course that affects our numbers, of course that affects our click rate, but beyond that, for the people watching, especially, like I'm saying, people watching popular YouTubers are probably not going to be watching us, and so they're going to be hearing about stuff for the first time, and some of them, and you can even go on to like some of these videos, like I'm not going to name names obviously, but you can go on to some of those videos if you do know, and there's people asking like, where's the information for this, what's the source, what's the proof that this is even the case. And so for people that do want to deep dive into it, it's always great to have that option there. And so when we've had a bad experience with people with 10,000 subscribers, to then have such great due diligence done by someone with 500,000, like, that's absolutely crazy. I couldn't believe that when this happened. And beyond all of that, such a notable platform giving credence to, you know, Carolyn Gare and the work that she put into it was absolutely incredible. And of course, if you wanted to nitpick, you could argue maybe the link was put on a bit late, but does it really matter? I mean, what did Scott use at the end of the day? It was just a couple of seconds of Carolyn with no audio, and so the fact that he even edited in our names was crazy. So we really do appreciate that, and obviously I haven't outright asked, but I know for a fact, based on what I know from people that worked on Haunted High Rise, that this coverage will have meant the world to them as well. So really, really do appreciate this.
Let's not forget about Mystery Pups either, all right? That was obviously not going to be a show for everyone. It was geared towards a much younger audience, but I do think that Mystery Pups was the catalyst for this entire thing. Animation writer and loose internet acquaintance of mine, Roger Eschbacher, made this tweet not too long ago. From a colleague, quote, "Our show Scooby-Doo Mystery Pups has wrapped early because we lost our distribution with HBO Max. It's a very entertaining show that I cannot openly share, but it might get picked up again if they find another distributor." But that tweet was made on March 3rd. The very next day is when Scooby-Doo in Crypto 2 was mysteriously leaked online. I'm just now noticing that the wording on that tweet is pretty interesting, saying that he cannot openly share the show. No, don't get me wrong. I don't actually think that Roger had anything at all to do with the leak. I don't even know if he was working on the Crypto movie.
So I guess just to clear things up, I have seen the Crypto movie and I can't find Roger's name anywhere in the credits. So definitely I don't think he had anything to do with the Crypto movie. I kind of don't understand planting the seed within a casual audience brain of Roger leak. It could be associated now. For us, Scott makes it very clear that he doesn't believe that. Because it's kind of unrelated, I don't really understand the point, but it's interesting to note that it brings me onto a lot of things that I've even discussed with a lot of people behind the scenes, and that's the whole purpose of an NDA. So when Roger's saying, I can't discuss this openly or I can't share this openly, it is simply because, in my opinion, or from what I know, NDAs are still applied to Holiday Haunt, Haunted High Rise, and I assume now, based on both those projects, Mystery Pups as well. And I completely disagree with that. I don't know why there's still NDAs around these projects. Because think about it this way. If there's an NDA around a project, then what's it doing apart from, I guess, suppressing creators and talent from saying how good it would be so that it doesn't reflect badly on Warner Brothers when we all get angry about it? I mean, deep this for a minute. Let's just say in an alternate reality, we get Mystery Pups. That comes out, people are a bit, it's cute, but, you know, we need like a Scooby-Doo movie for everyone here, you know what I mean? Like, say that's the controversy in replacement of Velma. Now then say Velma gets cancelled, but no one knows about it, so it was essentially in the place of Haunted High Rise. We do an interview with Mindy Kaling or Charlie Grandi, and he says that the gang would be race swapped, the type of jokes that would be in it, the violence, the awkward scenes of the teenage girls. If we released that interview and Looper, Collider, CBR picked up on this, you know what people would be saying? The exact same things that they either said about Velma after watching it or before they were watching it. Like, the fans will have decided that, you know, the Velma show wasn't for them, and maybe they're thankful that it was kind of shelved. But conversely, now we're in a situation where, well, Warner Brothers, if you're going to justify cancelling it, then let the creators talk about it. Let them share that publicly. Because if Carolyn Gare can then have the liberty to tell us all about Haunted High Rise and say we absolutely hated it, That's our prerogative to hate it. It shouldn't be down to suits and corporations just focusing in on the bottom line to tell us what we deserve to see and what we don't deserve to see, because the artists deserve at least for the fans to judge it or not. I mean, isn't that why people create things in general? So, yeah, I really do think that Warner Bros. Needs to ease up with the NDAs, or it's just telling me, at least, that the stuff that was cancelled was actually good.
But I do believe that someone who was working on the crypto movie saw yet another cancellation of the Scooby project to the detriment of all the artists and writers who worked hard on something that no one is ever going to see now, and got understandably frustrated. And in that frustration, leaked the film online in a combination of solidarity towards the other artists and defiance towards Warner's discovery.
Now, you could say that Scott right now is wearing a pretty substantial tinfoil hat, but I gotta say, the hat fits me as well, because I had this exact same reaction over on Twitter when the leak first happened, and so this kind of puts me in a bit of an awkward situation in that if Scott and I are correct that this was leaked out of anger, passion, frustration, whatever that may be, I do believe that the person that did leak it had the best interest of the artists and the creators at heart in mind. But let's think about where that puts us for a second. Imagine if crypto wasn't cancelled. Why would that person leak that movie? Because all that's going to be doing is maybe affecting DVD sales, maybe affecting numbers. Like, what would be the point on being angry at all the cancelled movies to then put the only non-cancelled movie in a situation where it could do less well? I mean, if crypto comes out and everyone flocks to it and it does numbers in terms of DVD sales and whatever, then surely that's showing the high-ups at Warner Bros. That Scooby-Doo is still valuable and that it does sell. Maybe that convinces them to revive Mystery Pups and Haunted High Rise. But in the situation that it's in now, it absolutely doesn't make sense for Scott and I to be right and for crypto to not be cancelled. So, what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comment section, because that's the one question out of all of this that I actually want to start some proper dialogue on. If Scott and I are right, and this was leaked out of anger and in solidarity at artists at defiance of Warner Brothers, then is crypto cancelled? Because it doesn't make any sense any other way.
Haunted High Rise was just beginning animation. But again, all of the voice acting and the songs were all recorded for that movie, so to be honest, I would be okay if they just released an audio-only version of that movie. It would kind of be like these old 70s Scooby-Doo records that I found on eBay, and yes, I do have a video coming about these, so subscribe to my channel if you want me to dive into some obscure Scooby-Doo media.
100%, yeah, go subscribe to NerdSync, because he did such a good job with this video. But more on that for a little bit. We did an interview just over the weekend, it was released, with Bex Wallace, and she confirms that the entire animatic was done for the movie. So I don't know what an animatic is. I know what it looks like though. So to explain to lay people, it's essentially moving storyboards. So everything except colour. Almost a black and white version of the movie in essence. So without shading, lighting, colouring. And I would be happy with that. I think it would do amazingly. And just think about how many talented artists there are in the Scooby-Doo community, such as Savethe. Imagine if Warner Bros. Gave us the animatic and us as a community helped to animate it and colour it. Wouldn't that be such a great experience for everyone? I think that would be a pretty great story to tell, but I don't see Warner Bros. Letting that happen. And there's stuff I absolutely can't say, but this will perhaps install some confidence in people watching. Scott mentions some aspects of Haunted High Rise there, which I know for a fact they did perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. And if artists and creators were inspired to put that out in the public, I think that would boost up the whole entire profile of this movie so much more. And it's a shame to see that Warner Brothers are treating, like, not only the fans this way, but the people that work for them. So, yeah. It's a bit of a bad situation, and I honestly hope that it does get saved, and I think that Scott's video is going to help quite a lot in terms of getting that out into the public eye.
I will say about any current and future leaks is that, you know, on one hand, I am genuinely glad that these artists' work is actually being seen and appreciated. But on the other hand, it's not like hosting it on archive.org is actually going to pay any of these artists residuals.
That is a really good point, and I don't think Warner Bros. Animation is in the guild. I don't know, I'm not putting that out into the world as a fact, it's just what I believe based on what I've heard, so I don't think they strictly will get residuals from any of these DTV projects. However, there is definitely the argument to be made for loss of earnings. I mean, if they are just paid up front for their work and it's business as usual, that's fine, but there's also other factors as well. So we know, for instance, that like Michael Korinsky was working on Holiday Haunt for 2 years, and I don't want to speak for him at all, but I want to say if you're deep in a project for 2 years, then maybe you would take less other jobs than you would do if you were completely free for that time. And so you could argue loss of earnings just because he would have been so busy on that work that he wouldn't have time, to do anything else. And also because it's leaked and there's still NDAs, imagine all the storyboard artists that, Holiday Haunt, Haunted High-Rise could have been their first job, and now they can't even put that stuff on their portfolio. Like, imagine how bad that would be. So, yeah, there's other factors as well to it include in that, and again, I'm just kind of getting sad just thinking about the situation again, because I feel so sorry for all the people that we know worked on the movies and the whole animation industry in general right now. It's a bad time. Really bad time, and ultimately, for all, and this is the tweet that I'm kind of making, if Crypto, Haunted High Rise, Holiday Haunt, everything like that was leaked, then the support stops. The negativity towards Warner Brothers stopped, and whilst, yeah, we won, we found all those things, the artists could share off their work. Just think about that for a second. A whole entire group of animators and stuff potentially laid off, like dishonesty and bad practices, like the fact that a movie can be completed and they can just decide, yeah, maybe not. All of their backlash for that would go because fans are happy, we've seen what we wanted to see now. And so I'm kind of like, you know, is it worth it? Because what would we do with this movement if everything was leaked? It would be, okay, yeah, good, we did it, but did we really? Is it really getting to the issue? What's to stop this from happening next time there's a merger? Or in a year's time? But, yeah, that's a whole different topic for another day. I do just want to thank Scott again. So grateful for this. And that's kind of all we have to say about this today. This is probably going to be our last Haunted High Rise or anything type of video, unless we get another interview or some more information. I mean, that's all we can do at this point. We're really happy to be able to get past all of the nonsense with the corporate underlines, and we just want to get rid of all of that and look at the truth and present the truth and hope that it finds an audience that can hear it eventually. And so we're grateful to Scott at NerdSync, and if I can just remove this background for a second, and appreciate some of the other people that helped us on the way, such as CBR, Collider, Looper, Scoobytopia, J-Man. All those people have gathered together to help this story spread, and we're really grateful for that. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and if you do want to see more, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.